Real life.
Welcome to Fahad before, and our reigning champion, working in racing will not be competing. That means the new national champion will be crowned this year. Joining us in the commentary box today are Asit the Same, National Motorsport Team Manager, and Fahad before, last year's runner-up, and the Asit, can you talk us through the drive? Assalamualaikum, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us for so that we already had a race last race. And we can say like there are some drivers who look out for this race, and this race is going to be very interesting. And one of the drivers, a few of the drivers are like Cheyenne and Zohaib, and we also have Habib Ontor. Ontor is fast. Habib is fast experience. We have very young kids like Zohaib and Cheyenne, both are at their very young age, 15 and 16. So we look for them. Then if we go down, we have a few other drivers like Zabo from the silver class. And we have a female racer here as well, Tanzila. So look out for Tanzila as well. So like in last race, she did had a good race. So based on that, so we're looking forward to this race, and especially this round, these cars, these LMH cars are like quite different than what they actually race in the round two. Because so these are very sensitive cars. Like with a prototype, these have lots of aero, downforce, lots of engine powers, electric powers. But on the other hand, this car doesn't come with driver's aid like ABS system. So drivers gonna be watch out for how they apply the brakes, how like sensitive, how ticklish they can use that those brakes. It's a different skills that they prepare for this race. Where would you say hypercar, LMH, uh, these LMH is like somewhere near the of the Formula One because these are prototypes. Like the Formula One, those are also like one of a kind. These are also one of a kind. So these are not, and these particular vehicles are used for individual races, like 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. So these machines are like made like a bulletproof. So these are like top class racing, top class drivers here. Not only driving as a physical attributes in real life, they are actually a different kind of breed of drivers. We have some Formula One drivers who made the kind of challenges, and endurance race gives a wide variety of challenges for F1 drivers. So nowadays you can see like even Max Verstappen switching to the endurance races. So yeah, like this kind of like different kind of race, like as I said before, like Formula One and this LMH, yeah, top kind of races. So helps drivers to develop their all sort of skills they need to be the top drivers. So this is really Formula One trying out the endurance.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me in the commentary box. Yeah, so one of the main reason why we've thought about Assetto Corsa over Le Mans Ultimate, I think yes, Le Mans Ultimate is widely and vastly becoming the popular game for the hypercars, but it's at a very initial stage. Multiplayer option might not be still ideal and perfect, so and also it's a bit heavy on the hardware requirements. So we thought that we didn't want to try that out yet because it's still in its initial stages. And Assetto Corsa has been around for a very long time. It's a community-based mod developed. So the quality of the game itself has improved a lot over the past 5 to 10 years. I mean, and it's and the quality of racing that you get is actually very, very high in Assetto Corsa as well. And a lot of drivers actually still still use Assetto Corsa. So I think it was one of the main reason why we went for this is because of its stability and also for it being to be one of the very good mods. I think the hypercars that we've got is actually very close to what the real cars actually feel like. So it is, I think it was probably one of the main reason why we went for Assetto Corsa.
Dubai Auto Today we're racing in Dubai Autodrome on track, length of 5.39 kilometers and 17 turns. This this track at used used for mostly the endurance races. So in terms of the geographical location of this track, it's like a place near the desert. Renault Clio Cup Middle East Championship. So yeah, he's well experienced in this track. And this track is actually not a boring track. It's like gives a lot, like unlike the last track that we raced uh, in UK, and that track compared to this track has a lot of overtaking opportunities, lots of straights, wide spaces. So I think drivers would be able to pull out some clean moves, but yet since these cars are too good to drive.
Yeah, that's what Arnoldo. Yeah, we should be. Can you say something?
Yeah. So I think let's continue
So our
while the
practice
sound.
session just ended, and we are now into the qualifying. It's 10-minute qualifying. It's all the drivers will shoot out for the 10 minutes to set their grid up. So yes, I think maybe we had some technical issues with the audio. Maybe we can just recap what we've just, we were discussing.
So we're here for round 3, race 1 in the hypercars in NESRC 2.0, the National Esports Sim Racing Championship of Bangladesh 2026. And today I'm joined in the commentary box by Asif Hussain, the National Motorsport Team Manager, and Fahad Ghafoor, last year's runner-up and the head of the AAB Motorsport Academy. We've been talking about hypercars, the LMH class of cars, and where they fit into the motorsport hierarchy and ecosystem. We've also talked a bit about today's track, the Dubai Autodrome, and also today's game, Assetto Corsa. Perhaps Asif and Fahad, we can talk a bit about the drivers from last week and who impressed you and who you think might have a point to prove in today's race.
Yeah, I think I mean, there were quite a lot of drivers last week, and they were very impressive in each classes. And I think the two drivers that really stood out, I mean, in terms of good battle on track, and they were at it throughout the race at each other. It was, and two of our youngsters actually, and it was Zayan and Shayan, and they really gave us some good action throughout the race, I think, and it was very, very interesting. Another driver who also impressed me was Zoeb. I think he's shown a complete different level of racing. I think in the race two he controlled it very, very well. In race one, I think if I'm not wrong, he did end up taking a podium in the race one as well, and that's why one of the reason he's also leading the championship overall. So I think, yeah, these are the three drivers who's actually impressed me, and mainly because they're very young, and their improvement and how they have actually developed throughout this since last year's championship is tremendous.
Asif, what do you think?
Yeah, like from if you look back at the last previous seasons, like drivers in these seasons are like more, I can see more mature package. It's like the drivers that Fahad Ghafoor has mentioned, like I see a lot of maturity from them. Is like they're like more like not making those noob mistakes, not like that. Like they're very careful when they're fighting wheel to wheel on with other drivers. They know how much gap to leave. They can predict the drivers in front, like when to brake and not. So they are doing everything, like we were not seeing those like amateur kind of like late breaking movement causing creating accident, not like those things. So yeah, like in this season two, drivers have matured. So, and I also think like this season gonna be much more competitive one, very close battles in terms of championship points and also on the racetrack. So I'm having like really high hopes for this season.
I was quite impressed too by Abir Ahmed and Antar Boyan. We know the quality of we know their quality as drivers, and they've always shown that they're good drivers. But what's impressed me this year is, as you say, a new level of maturity from each of them, and they're both very, very fast. A lot of the drivers are very, very fast.
Yeah, in terms of saying that, I think I missed something about Ayaz. Ayaz actually represented Bangladesh in APMC last year. So thinking as of now, he is right in the top quarter, the league of our championship thing. But I'm expecting to see him raising his bar as setting new challenges in this season. So I haven't seen that yet from him. So let's see. Only in the race one he was in the control position, but in the race two, I think there was some kind of maybe accident or something that he was involved in. That's why he falling back. So I want to see him some clean races building up to this the whole season.
Yeah, race two, which is available on our YouTube channel, if you have time to go back and watch it after this race. Ayaz struggled, I think, with the reverse grid. So having won the previous race, he started from P10, whereas Zoheb, who started in P9, made up all of those places and very quickly went to the front at the start of that race, race two. Today we can see the two of them are trading places for in qualifying, and now it
Ah,
looks like Cheyenne has joined the party.
Cyan, yeah, splits. The Zoev and Ayaz package. Just to remind this, Zoheb and Ayaz are actually teammates for the ERGP thing, so it's quite fun to see them like fighting with each other, being a teammate in other championship.
Yeah, and last year in the junior class, Cheyenne and Zoheb were the two leaders. And as we can see, Ayaz has gone fastest still.
Yeah. So
We
while we're riding
actually
with
are
Ayaz,
waiting
yeah,
for Anthor Bhuya, I think, who has been pretty impressive throughout the qualifying, is yet to set a lap time. I think he's facing some hardware issues. Hopefully, he will be on track before the session ends.
we
Because
don't have
I
much time.
Yeah, and I think he's actually a very good contender for this race as well. I think he's been very, very impressive with his LMH cars, you know. These cars are quite difficult to drive. It's you do not have ABS, you do not have traction control, and you know, one of the key things about these cars is you know, the hybrid system that kicks in when you're coming out of slow corners. So that kind of makes it a lot more difficult. It's unlike the ICE engines, right? Where the delivery is a little bit different. But in the hybrid cars, where you have like in the rear axle additional 50 kilowatts that just gives you the push out of corners, so makes it also quite difficult to control. So it is actually a very difficult car to drive. So I was actually kind of hoping to see how the top shapes up, but it's at the moment, like you said, you know, it's Ayaz and Zoeb trading places. Behind them, Cheyenne not that far away, even though he's on a different class.
Uh,
And I think the field is actually pretty close. You know, I mean, a single lap pace might not actually tell you the final result, but it gives you an idea, I guess.
We can see a lot of Toyotas. This isn't your average daily drive Toyota hybrid that we're seeing here on track. A
yeah,
lot of
as we say, like these cars are not made to be homologated. So you see, these are only prototypes, like best of Toyota can make.
it's interesting to see that the top three are all driving Toyotas.
Yeah. So we only have like less than 2 minutes now. I think if Antar Bhuya have to set a time, he needs to come out on the track right now. Times are running out for him.
And one of the thing how we've actually, I think it's great that you know, we've made the playing field even, because all these drivers are actually driving on fixed setup, and they are not allowed
Yeah.
to change the setup except for certain parameters like, you know, how much fuel and tire pressure and things like that. So this is to make sure that this is just purely driving skills and not some setup that you've actually found which works very well and probably give you a lot more advantage. So this is something interesting. Not many leagues usually practice on this kind of fixed setup, but you know, I think we wanted to make sure that we find the best of the best. So this is something that this league has implemented, and I'm quite pleased that you know, the organizers have thought about this.
Yeah, like this fix setup thing, this actually gives that thing that you said is a level playing field. Yeah, like me being as a national team manager, I looked up to this kind of things, like making the competition fair, so that I can evaluate the skills of individuals. So it helps me to brings them like where in terms of selection they can be. So it helps me a lot. So this kind of races.
Definitely, definitely. I think, yeah, it makes, I mean, it makes, you know, for especially when we are talking about being selected for a national side, and how do you compare drivers? How do you rate them? And I think when we can have more championships and more races of such, it makes it a lot more easier and balanced. You know, it doesn't give you some biased results or things like that, because it's very raw driving skills that counts.
Yeah, just to give a real life example is like when we attend the Gymkhana Championships. So there the organizers will give you a car that they already have it. Like this car, like all the competitors, they need to drive the same cars. So in terms of the equipments, drivers don't have much advantage on that. So it's the skills that they need to bring up to create that difference between one driver from another driver. So So that's why I say like this kind of competition, like where everyone is getting the same equipment, helps a lot.
We're
As
on
we can
board now with
see on Onther, and I think he might not be able to do
Make
it
up.
because we have actually reached the end of qualifying. It's on overtime right now, and he doesn't seem to be on a valid lap at the moment. It's a shame. It's a shame because he was very quick throughout practice. Even on our unofficial practice days, he has been making good progress. It's sad, but yeah, it's a 45 minutes race, so it's unlike the Assetto Corsa. In our ACC last round, we had a very short 30 minutes race, where over this race, it's a 45-minute race, endurance car, so we thought maybe why not go a bit longer. Oh, Onther did manage to put in a valid lap, and he's actually got into P3, which is quite impressive.
Oh,
So sorry about
that's
that.
very,
why.
That was unnoticed, and I mean, great. I think that was a great drive from him, given that he's been struggling with some
Yeah,
issues and hardware stuffs. It just shows that he's determined, and I think it was a very, very good lap.
and
So
in terms of the lap time, it's not that far.
yeah, not that far behind Zoheb and
One
Ayaz.
tenth, one tenth, less than one tenth, I think.
Mm.
so I think this is gonna shape up
And
to be a very, very good race.
yeah, I'm like quite like it's not surprised. I'm like actually quite like finding really surprising that Mushfiq Yasir, he is in the top five with these cars. So these cars need a different set of skills, and he did quite well in qualifying compared to what he did in the ACC GT3 cars.
True, he was good in the qualifiers though. The qualifier rounds,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
did
yeah.
quite well, and he did get P6 in the reverse grid race last week.
Mm.
A lot
But
of
you're right.
drivers from last season are actually showing a lot of improvement, and I think as a community, as a country, as a nation, I think this is what we want to see. Our drivers, improving from the previous season, and that it just shows that it's been developing, and they are taking it seriously. So it's actually very, very good to see.
Yeah, on the other hand, like this is a proper FIA sanction race. So drivers competing here, they actually need the FIA esports license to get in this race. So structurally, in terms of motorsports, we can say this is a very big development for Bangladesh that we're actually sanctioning these races and are us requiring the drivers to get their racing licenses. So this is quite a big development for Bangladesh as a motorsports.
A few of these drivers compete regularly in community racing. I think all of them competed last year successfully in the national championship, and some of them also compete in endurance racing in ERGP.
We seem to be, yeah, there is a wait period. Let's just hope. I think
Yeah.
somebody has disconnected, and that could be the reason.
I think it was Antar Boyan.
Yeah, I think he's again facing some issues in terms of hardware. I hope he is able to go in.
He races, of course, based in Malaysia, and so there may be
Yep, I
a
think.
distance thing in the internet connection.
Let's just see.
We can see a car moving in the pit lane.
Yeah, I think we've had some issues with the server.
So technical glitches.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think. Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does. I mean, this is what happens in this kind of online races. Things do sometimes go wrong.
It looks like Antar Boyan has rejoined the server. So Asif, while the technical problems are being sorted out, who's impressed you in other series in esports? from these drivers. As I mentioned, some of them compete in ERGP. ERGP is an um, endurance racing series, uh, mainly for the Asia Pacific region. So I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about people who've impressed you from that who are competing in the championship, in this
So
championship.
yeah, like as we mentioned earlier, like drivers like Soheb, Ayaz, they already compete in ERGP and others races as well. Like Ayaz also participates in some of the F4 race on iRacing hosted by the Sri Lankan ASN. So he has quite a variety of skills. I've seen him racing in F4 there. So he is there like a top quarter like a driver in that league. And when we talk about ERGP is a very competitive race since this that is like a kind of flagship endurance esports sim racing championship in Asia Pacific region. So best of the Asia Pacific drivers they come and compete there. So in that particular competition, I would say like normally there is Fahad Ghafoor, Rahul. They are the leading Bangladeshi team, but I the other team is the combination of Ayaz and Zoheb. In that particular team, also doing good. They are using quite an old car like a Lexus in that competition. So they did quite really good well there. And I was really impressed with Zoheb, especially in the first race, like where we had in Watkins Glen. So he was really fast in that Lexus. So they did actually achieve some good result there. So that in terms of drivers like Zoheb did really good, and there were some other drivers like Abir, Siam, Ishraq. Then I also had a team there. My teammate was Zubair. Zubair also competing in this championship.
Tanzila
So
as well.
yeah,
Tanzila and Mushfiq.
Tanzila, Mushfiq Yasir, Zayan. So a lot of drivers actually is now getting into more international experiences. So maybe participating in those competitions actually we can reflect this in this championship because we have been telling a lot of things like the standard of racing this season has really gone up from the previous season. So getting experiences in this kind of like a different championship international drivers when you race with the top class or the better drivers then your driving skills or racecraft skills that goes up, so we can actually see that in this championship so far.
And which of these drivers has experience in real world motorsport, like in the national team? You're the national team
Okay,
manager.
we have a driver called here Sarwar Hussain. So he has experience of real life racing. Like last year he participated in the Auto Gymkhana, Asia Auto Gymkhana AAGC Championship in two rounds, one in Taiwan, another one in Uzbekistan. As a driver, as a new timer for the Gymkhana race, so he did quite well. So I was happy to see him improving, and from that, this time also I'm seeing him. He's allocating some time for sim racing. So as a team manager, it helps me to see developing his skills. So
We
yes,
talked
and
about Ontor as well, Ontor Boyan.
yeah. Ontor was there as well. Ontor participated in MFOS Malaysia Festival Speed, where he competed in two kind of categories. Or he also participated in Auto Gymkhana and karting slalom. Then he was again placed in the team for the Asia Pacific Motorsports Championship that was in Sri Lanka last year. There he participated in karting endurance. So there he was team up with another driver called Arham. He's based in Australia. So our team there as a first timer in karting endurance race in a FIA sanctioned race, we actually didn't had a bad race. We actually had quite a good solid race there. So Antor
Can you
also
tell us a
had
bit about the squirrel incident? So Ontor, I believe, had an incident in the karting endurance race when on track a squirrel ran directly into the path of his
oh
car, into
oh
the path of his cart. The squirrel survived, but I think Ontor was a bit shaken up. But nevertheless, he still had a decent result in the end.
yeah yeah So
So who?
Antar as a driver, like he has a like variety of skills. A auto gymkhana, karting slalom, karting endurance, now sim racing, quite a lot. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and then other drivers who've also got had some real world experience. I think we have Zion.
Yeah,
He competed in karting slalom,
yeah,
AAB's national karting slalom, in
yes,
2024, and then also APMC as well in karting slalom.
yes,
And I think he did
and
okay there.
yeah, given that the set of condition was there, like changes in and like the weather in Sri Lanka. So given that, I think he did a okayish kind of job there.
And then I think Tanzila as well competed in
Yeah,
APMC.
yeah.
So
Tanzila
there's a
was
few
also there.
in
Yes,
karting slalom. So there's a few drivers who have a little bit of real world experience.
yeah. Good to see. Like even when we're talking about Zion's improvement, like in sim racing, is really good. Like if I talk about the last round race, he was actually fighting with Cheyenne. Then also I think he was in front of Ontor as well. So he did quite like his in terms of maturity, like soaking up the pressure of this kind of pro level drivers. And Zion at the age of at his age, he showed really good maturity there, like not committing much mistakes. So I see him like as a driver, his mental stability is going up while the more he races, the more mentally matured he's getting, handling different racing situations. So he has developed quite a lot.
So as we speak, I think at the back end, I think the server is being restarted. I think there won't be a qualifying necessary. The grid has been set. Hopefully, everything goes accordingly. We've had a couple of drivers who actually face a bit of issues, so I think one of the reason why our race control has decided to restart and just get the session going again.
So what should we watch out for in the start of the race? In last week's races, we had rolling start in GT3. Can you tell us about the start process and procedure in hypercars?
Yeah, so I think it'll be a standing start as AC goes, but it's gonna be interesting. These cars are hybrid, as we know, and very much how the current Formula era is. Formula One cars works. So they have a lot of power, but you've got to be at the right power band when you're, launching. And if you are not doing that correctly, let's say, somebody just holds on the throttle, slams on throttle, and just waits for it to just go at the gantry when it goes green, you might actually see that the cars bog down, and if somebody behind you actually has a proper start, that can cause cause an issue because you might get completely caught off, and you might actually crash into the guy in front who's actually slow. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting, and I hope that our drivers have actually practiced this, hopefully, and they've tested it out because it's something that I'm looking forward to. I hope, we don't have chaos even before the race starts.
And Asif, what will you be looking out for?
A similar like what Fahd said, because as from the beginning I was saying like these cars are very hard to drive, like no driver's aids. And if we talk about our previous season, it was totally on GT3 cars, and even in the community level we do lots of GT3 races. So this kind of cars they needs a different kind of driving skills. So I'm um, actually looking forward to see the starts, like who survives. And I kind of expect a lot of shuffling of positions in the first lap.
If you slam on the throttle when the lights go green, what's going to happen to your car?
You might lose a traction because of lots of wheel spin. So you have to be very careful, like how much you're throttling, like the throttle modulation, how much you're doing. So you have to be like you have to let your feet talk to those pedals. So something like those things you have to do as a driver.
It'll be interesting to see. The standing start,
Yeah,
of course, will be familiar to anyone who's familiar with Formula One, where we have our standing start.
yeah. And especially cold tires, and as I said, like these cars generate a lot of horsepower, so a lot of powers, a lot of wheel spins. And if your tires and brakes are in cold conditions, then you are like the first, at least for the first turn, you're like you'll be riding on a big ice skateboard, something like that. So you have to be very very tricky, very careful.
Yeah, yeah, I think you like Asif mentioned, like if you're slamming on the throttle and expecting it to go, how this hybrid car works is because your power is actually managed. So what will happen is basically the management is actually gonna restrict you from going into that wheel spin mode. And what it'll do is then it will just cut down your power, and then that actually causes you bogging down. It actually kind of like creates a hesitation because the engine does not want to give you that power because it's already noticing that you're actually trying to deliver a power beyond what you're supposed to. So what it does is it actually hesitates and it reduces your power, and then end up you stutter, and that's why you actually have the slow starts. So yeah, it sounds a lot more technical, but I hope fingers crossed, I hope that we don't end the race even before we start, as and I can see that we're back on stream and somebody
Yeah,
is
someone
actually
is
practicing
backing
their
up.
reverse. So yeah, I do not know if it's gonna be of any help, but why not? If you have the feature, why not try it?
It looks like a
Yeah,
Porsche. We can.
we're all familiar with the. I won't name the driver, but we'll all have seen the videos on YouTube of a driver in a particular series who was very really struggling to reverse his car.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Uh, yeah, probably. Yeah, there are lots more. I think yeah, just probably test your reverse brakes. I mean, reverse gears. If you have it, if you why not use it?
I think it was used quite well actually in last race when someone spun on track and was facing the wrong way and used reverse to get off the track before rejoining in a
Hmm.
safe way.
One of the good things about having a reverse gear, especially in our GT3 race last week, and somebody spun, and they actually used the reverse gear in a very good way to move out of the track and
Yeah.
clear the road. So I think very sensible, very mindful of what's happening, awareness. That was good to see, and it was actually one of our kids, one of the junior drivers. So it's actually good to see that these kids are also putting their brains into use, and they are actually much aware of the environment where they are, and it's very very promising. I think as a country, as the drivers of our country, I think it is some good moments that we are creating.
And it's an interesting age range. We've talked about the 14-year-old and 15-year-olds. And at the other end of the age range in the grid, we've got 47-year-old. He might not want me saying his actual age, but someone in his mid 40s, let's say, mid 40s. So a number of different ages, all competing on track together. So we can see all of the cars sitting in the pits. What should we expect next?
Yeah, so I think what has happened is basically we've skipped a qualifying session, and the server has been set in such a way that the grid has been set. So we expect that once the race starts, the grid is set according to the previous qualifying. And yeah, it looks like it is in the correct order. If we have a look at our standing, we have Zoeb, who actually was P1, starting in P1. So we are just 40 seconds away from the race start.
And there's no formation lap, just go straight in.
Yes, that's right.
And unlike in Formula One, there's a slightly staggered rows.
And while we wait for the lights to go green, yeah, on any moment the race is about to start, and I can hear a lot of cars actually revving. And yes,
Oh,
as we mentioned, as we expected, some of them did actually not have a good start. And but I think most of them has practiced it. So yes, just a couple of them maybe got caught off guard. But yeah, not as bad as we expected, and that's commendable. Oh, but we've
Well,
had an incident at
whoa!
front, and who was that? I think was one
I
of the
think
Ferraris that spun.
it looked like 4 cars tried to get into one corner together at the same time.
Yeah, and we've immediately had a person who's actually left. Mohamed has actually left the server. I hope it wasn't something very severe. I don't know if it was some technical issues. But Cheyenne has taken the lead in all of it, and we missed that. Uh, Zoeb has dropped a couple of places, and Cheyenne has taken the lead, and Ayaz has gone up. Ayaz has actually maintained his position, and Zoeb seems to be the biggest loser from this, the race start.
But they're all
I
still very close together. P2, P3, P4.
I
Yeah,
think Zoeb is the one who ran wide in the turn one. I think that's why he lost this position.
Cheyenne's opening a little bit of a gap at the front.
so this is going to be interesting. I mean, it's a long race, 45 minutes. It's not over till it's over, really. But yeah, seems like as Cheyenne has taken the lead, he's led the first lap. A lot of
Well, in
Toyota
all,
cars, to be honest, on track.
yeah.
Any specific reason, Asif, you think for that?
Because of maybe the last few years, the Toyota has been really quite dominance in endurance races. I think that can be another thing. And also in Bangladesh, if you see the like roads full of Toyotas, so it's like a brain positioning, the brand positioning in your mind, something like that. So kind of brand loyal. Many of these drivers, maybe the Toyota users.
I would have thought that it was one of the reasons. Maybe the car is a bit different and it may be easier to drive. I personally have done a lap or two with this, while we were doing our qualifiers, and I felt the Toyota is a bit more forgiving. I think we've got Angshuman, who's actually had a contact somewhere, and let's look at him. And I think he's battling. Yes, he is actually battling with
Abir,
Abir.
yeah, I'm quite surprised to see Abir like on 11th, on 12th. Anshuman actually, whoa,
As you can
switching.
see, he just, and Angshuman just running wide, and we clearly saw that he locked up his brakes. And as we mentioned, these cars do not have ABS, so you can't really just, brake and turn at the same time. It's you gotta have the discipline to not do that. And so a very hard car to drive, and you got to manage your tires. It's 45 minutes race. You don't want to be going into the pits to change tires, and the whole grid is actually on medium tires. I hope they survive the whole race.
Yeah,
Something happened to
this.
Zayat. Seems to be dropping
And
down.
yes, and I think there was probably a contact with Ayaz as well.
Oh,
He's dropped down to third.
yeah, Antar Bhuya made up the place. Now he's in second place. You
Zan
don't
has
see
dropped a
like,
couple of places.
yeah,
He was running ninth. He's dropped now down all the way down to 17th.
So we're going back to the lead pack. The Antar has gone up to P2,
yeah,
and
in hot pursuit of Cheyenne.
You
yeah,
can
and
see Ayaz in his mirrors.
And as we were saying earlier in our stream, I think Antar has put in a lot of practice, and if you look from the way he's driving, he's actually not locking up his brakes. But whereas our P1 Cheyenne is actually locking up his brakes, it might not be very helpful for him. As we speak, Antar has set the fastest lap of the race.
26.7. So
He is in
his
hot
quali lap
pursuit.
was 26.1. So given that, he's actually doing good.
Another lock-up in front.
Yeah. Like this track is like a pressure cooker. Like if you lock up your tires, brakes, so and the temperature is like quite hot. The track temperature is quite hot. So it's actually as the race unfolds, you are actually hurting your own performances. So Antar looks very smooth with these cars.
Yeah, he was quite unfortunate in the previous round. I think he just didn't have enough luck. He just
Commentators
ran.
curse. Lock up.
Uh, yeah, I think every time we talk about something, we do end up having the commentators because I thought it only worked in cricket. Seems like it works in motorsports as well.
Ayaz is actually quite good to sticking up with Antar. So uh,
We're riding on board with Ayaz as we speak.
yeah.
He's just
You
watching
can
the
see.
battle.
Yeah, he has to play the opportunity card now. So he just wait. Let's see what happens in front. So wait for that opportunity.
Sam Rahman goes quickest, and that was something that maybe we didn't expect coming. And he set a 126.5 in the last lap,
Right.
and Onthor was pretty close as well. So I think it's it just shows that we've been talking about drivers improving over the year, and everybody seems to be in a pretty much similar pace at the moment.
And if you see the top tens, you'll see very unfamiliar name that you're not used to see in top tens, like drivers like Sartaj, those kind of drivers. You don't see them like quite often in top 10.
Tanzila
Okay,
has
there are
had an
drivers.
issue, and she seems to be in the pit. I do not know if it's she's been there for about 2 minutes. I hope it's not a damage that she's incurred somewhere.
Cheyenne's still holding on to the lead, but you can see Antar's car getting bigger and bigger in his rear view mirrors.
Yeah, it's now turning out to be a train like of thing. I
We
was waiting for that move.
uh, you got to be very careful when you're running wide here, or if your track limits, because in Assetto Corsa it can be also quite heavy when it comes to penalties, because it.
Oh, we're coming from move.
Oh, there was a
Oh, make
collision
my
with that,
day.
and they're
Make my
holding
day.
on still, and Onthor has
Ayaz has
made
gone
it.
through.
Onthor has made it through, and Ayaz just saw that opportunity and he took that and grabbed it. Probably something that maybe the stewards might want to look into, but as for now, Onthor has taken the lead from Cheyenne, and Cheyenne actually dropped 2 places. And like Asif
And
was saying, Asif,
yeah,
Ayaz hold
Ayaz
waiting.
actually, yeah, he actually had his fastest lap time right on the right spot. So he was so close enough to get Cheyenne at that moment. So yeah, so I was telling like he's a kind of he always plays this opportunity kind of card. He's calm and he reads the situation around him. So he actually kind of grabs this kind of situation when it comes to him. So that was a fine opportunity move from him. So now let's see. Ayaz is in hot pursuit. Oh, coming very close to. Uh, yeah, Ayaz is actually doing good to like in being in the overtaking kind of opportunity for Antar. So let's see. We're approaching the T turn one again where the move was done. So let's see if Ayaz gonna break late on this time or not. Nope, nope,
Yeah, so
not that.
going back to what we were saying, that Assetto Corsa, how when you go off track, it's not that forgiving because the game actually gives you a penalty to slow down for a couple of seconds. It's pretty much like how iRacing works. Whereas in Assetto Corsa Competizione, you don't do that. You either get a drive-through when you reach a certain number of limits. But over here, if you have three tires off the racing line and off the racing track, you are actually asked to slow down, and it can hurt your race a lot because slowing down for even 5 seconds, you will lose a lot of places.
Looks like we have two battles at the front. We have P1 and P2 fighting it out, and then P3, P4, and P5 has joined the party.
Yeah, and talk about P5 Mushfiq Yasser. He is actually doing good to follow this leader pack.
He qualified second overall in the round 1 qualifiers.
Exactly.
But then had a disappointing first race in the GT3 round. He got a respectable P6 in the second race of the GT3 round, and now is running P5 here. Behind him, there's a bit of a gap to Siam, and Siam has a bit of a gap himself to Sartaj in P7.
The field, other than the top four drivers, seems pretty spread out, except for I think Mushfiq Yassir's also joined the party with Cheyenne. I think he's just
Looks like
right
Zoheb has
behind.
just taken. Oh, the three of them are side by side.
Whoa, three wides. Oh, Mushfiq was. Yes, it is.
If he
Gone
can
up to third.
keep it.
Whoa, he
No,
Oh
cannot
he
complete
can't.
no
the
no 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 no!
ball.
And that is he couldn't. He just outbraked himself there and he locked up.
Yeah.
Zoheb went through and Cheyenne took 2 places. In fact, Mushfiq has dropped down all the way to P7 now.
He's dropping further. These cars can be very sensitive to damages as well, as they're very aero-dependent cars. So I think any bodywork damages will hurt your race.
Anthar and Ayaz very close. P1. Fight for P1.
Yeah. The gap has like really opened now, like for the first and second position. So these two are like having a lone race right now.
All the lap times are so close together that the chasing pack of Cheyenne and Zoheb, it will be quite a challenge for them unless something goes wrong further up ahead.
So as Fahad was saying, like these cars are like very sensitive in terms of aero damages. So we have seen that like when Onto took that first position, he had some bump with Cheyenne. So if he carries the damages, I think Ayaz might have some advantage over him in the race to be unfolded.
Looks like Ayaz is lapping quicker, about 2/10 quicker than Antar. Are they coming up to a back marker now?
Yes, they're catching up the back markers. So this is another thing. These back markers, as I mentioned always, Onto ran a bit wide. So these back markers actually work like I say a moving chicane in a race. So nice. Ayaz was quite efficient, like while overtaking that back marker.
So that's a lot of drivers actually seems to be running quite a lot of lonely races, not much happening around. And I think you would expect that in an endurance kind of a race. I mean, a 45 minutes race, the field spreads out. Uh, but it always, talking about that, somebody has had a moment, and I think that was Sadek Chaudhary that I think he's gone off track, and there's two cars that's going slow.
Something happened with Ayaz. I think Ayaz is falling from something to do
Oh
with
yes.
Ayaz.
So he's gone down to P4.
Yeah, I think Sadek was a back marker and maybe
Oh,
he collided with Ayaz. I think so.
It seems to be so. Yeah, I think Now there is a pack that's battling, and there's four cars are battling here at the moment, and Zoeb and Cheyenne I think need to follow just following there in front, and Zoeb is just I think behind Cheyenne. He's not that far off. So seems to be quite a lot of position that's changing, and in the midst of that, Onther is just holding his game there. He's just making sure that he just builds on what he's done so far.
Yeah, he just have to just manage his cars around the back markers. So if he can do that well, then the race is his now from now on.
But as we saw from IRs, it's not always that simple.
Okay, yeah, very unpredictable back markers.
I think we can see Cheyenne still locking up from time to time in
Yeah,
his
he is,
tires.
and I think there's a battle going on here with Mushfiq Yasir and Sartaj. They're just going. I think he's making the move again, what he did earlier, braking late, and I think the result was almost same, and that lockup doesn't help much.
Slightly better though. The other car went off track.
Yeah.
He's made the place.
It's something during our training sessions when we talk with the drivers, and it's something that it's got to do with the vision. You never seem to make a mistake in a particular corner, but when someone makes a mistake, it ends up that you kind of do the same thing, and it's because you're looking at that thing and your brain just processes that you also tend to go towards that direction. So it's something a driver that needs to control that.
We had that, didn't we, in Formula One? I think a few years ago. George Russell followed Lando Norris
Yeah, yeah,
and hit the wall and lost P3. I think it was.
So
Oh,
Cheyenne
here's
back up
Mushfiq.
in P2.
but the gap I think to Ontrovia is still quite a big. I think.
Yeah, he's 6 seconds behind. So I think, yeah, Onthor is actually looking very good for the race. But as every time I say that, I seem to cause a curse.
Ah,
There's still a lot of time left in this race,
We
and
still 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes to the race left.
and as we've seen, they've already at around 15 minutes reached some of the back markers, and that brought an element of risk and chaos. I think they might hit the back markers twice more. They might reach the back markers and lap them again twice more before the end of the race.
You know
That
that,
could introduce
yeah,
some risk.
definitely. I think you've got that right. Yeah, it would. It probably could introduce some risk. Also, I think it's a very hot track. Middle East, usually the hot weather, the track conditions are pretty hot. What do you reckon? Do you think that these drivers, everybody is on medium? Do you think they will survive the whole race with the same set of tires, or you think we are going to see some pit stop for the first time?
It's a good question. Asif, what do you think?
mm, like the amount of tire locking we are seeing. So with adding with the track temperatures, like this tire should give up like halfway in the race. So let's see if the drivers like have enough gap between their rivals. So if they can plan out something, it will be very interesting to see.
We could see Cheyenne in P2 looking up quite frequently on the corners.
And
I
that's
don't think we
actually helping Zoeb, I think, catching up.
Two youngsters.
Last year it was definitely Cheyenne who had the better of Zoheb in the championship, although Zoheb did have one or two outstanding results as well. But this year it's much closer between the two of them.
Yeah, Shine is locking his tires like in every corner or something like that.
As you can see, Zoeb is making use of the full track that's available to
Full
him.
track. Exactly.
I think, would you say the gap is a bit closer between the two of them this year because of, it seems like Cheyenne had some time out of sim racing, has come back to it for the championship, whereas Zoheb has
Yeah,
been quite active.
yeah. Zoev has been like really active in the community and the ERGP and different all sort of competition in sim racing that he gets the opportunity to participate, and he's just doing all those things. As I mentioned earlier, like these kind of these races, these competitions helps you to develop as a driver. So that's we can see from Zoheb driving.
So this seems to be Mushfiq's favorite spot every time, and let's see what he does this time.
Better, worse, or is it better?
Uh, uh yeah,
Oh,
he lost. Whatever he
Yeah,
gained,
and
he
I
lost.
think if you could actually see, his brake discs are really running hot, and that's probably his braking late, and one of the reason why he didn't have control over the car in the next corner because his car probably couldn't stop in time. Now it's become a three-way battle. This is some good racing going on between Mushfiq Yassin and Sartaj. I think they're giving us the action that we all wanted.
Yeah, and that is actually helping Siam to move away from this pack. This two.
So as we speak, I think Zoev is closing in. I think he's got the gap down to less than half a second. As you can see, he seems a lot closer.
and they're in
So we are
identical
all,
cars.
yeah. So we are almost like the half part of the race now. So we have seen the first of the half of the race, and let's wait how the rest of the race goes on. And like, yeah, Zoeb is actually doing good, pursuing Cheyenne, he's building up the pressure so that Cheyenne makes some mistakes
I
or
think
locks up the brake,
as
like
we
that.
speak, the guys who were fighting for position, I think again they have had some incidents. Yeah, they're fighting at it. They're going for it. Yeah, another
Oh,
lockup from Cheyenne. It's
yeah,
definitely not going to help his cause.
yep. So this is what actually Zoeb's plan to force Cheyenne into more mistakes.
Do you think he'd have a tire advantage, an advantage on his tires closer to the end of the race?
Obviously, like if things stays like this, and if Zoeb can maintain his tires cars well, then obviously he will have a better car at the end of the race.
Very
Chan
close
locks up
now.
again. Yeah, opening the door for Zoeb. Uh,
Around the
Side by
outside.
side. You see Zoeb taking up those carbs of like eating burgers.
Another lockup.
He,
Cheyenne is just locking. Yeah, those I can hear those tires of Cheyenne. They're crying out. Like,
with this battle, is that Ayaz behind, catching them up?
yeah, giving Ayaz the hope for the second place. So on the other hand, the it's like a blessing for Antor. Like we have forgot about Antor in this race. And while looking at this battle, we forgot like where Antor is.
Let's look at. I think we are now on board with Cheyenne, and let's see how his car is getting affected, and you can see it kind of feels a bit slower compared to Zoeb. I think Zoeb is just hanging in there and not making any, drastic moves. He's just waiting for Zoeb to make an unforced error. Sorry, Shine
Cool.
to make an unforced error.
Ooh, Zoeb.
That was very
You
close.
see this kind of thing because it's close because Zoeb still has that grip in his tires. That's why he can brake late. Cheyenne cannot do that anymore because his tires are full of like flat spots. So his tires
Yes,
has become very unpredictable now. Where is the gripping point of his tires?
he seems to be understeering quite a lot.
Yep.
Zoeb lining him up again, and I think he's just letting him know that he's there. Just putting your nose there to let him know that I'm just next to you, and create that extra pressure.
Yeah, just that mind games, just giving you the sledging thing. In cricket, we see sledging, so Zoeb is actually doing that with Cheyenne now.
And while all this
And
is happening, Ayaz has come back again and joined them for the fun. I think he doesn't want to miss the party, right?
exactly, he has
Yeah.
got the best seat in the theater now.
Ayaz is an opportunistic driver. He'll be waiting for any opening.
Yeah.
You can see Zoeb is getting impatient, and
Oh,
Cheyenne
and the
is.
opportunity, and the opportunity. I has got it.
That was the opposite of the commentator's curse.
We were expecting this to happen. It's been going
All
on
three
for a while.
Toyotas.
Well, as a constructor, Toyota will be happy.
I think we
All
Oh,
should
three.
be seeing Toyota sponsoring us
Oh,
very soon.
yeah.
now cool heads must prevail. Let's see.
The Ayas back up to second. Shine is still holding up to the third position, and Zoheb still have to make the yeah. So fourth.
Oh, is that Cheyenne in front now?
Yeah, Cheyenne
Or is that...
is in front, and but you can see that he seems to be struggling to rotate his car.
Hmm. Would you say Ayaz left the door wide open a few corners ago?
Yeah,
So the two teammates, Ayaz and Zoheb, are fighting with each other now.
It looks like a back marker up ahead
Yes.
in front of this pack of three cars.
I think that's Junaid. Yeah, that's Junaid up in front. This will be interesting. I think he did the sensible thing. He just ran a little wide and let them through.
Yeah. Smart move.
And that has been quite impressive this year, I would say. What do you think, Asif? I think the back markers has been actually pretty predictable. They've actually done the things that they're expected to do. They've not caused that much of a trouble. Yes, on and off you
Oh,
do get caught off, but I think they're doing the right things.
And as we speak,
Zoheb has gone through.
we
Oh,
Ayaz has
side
gone
by
through.
side,
Zoheb
side by
fight.
side.
Yeah. Yeah. Zoheb is still finding it hard to overtake Cheyenne. It looks like they're having some personal battle because Ayaz passed Cheyenne quite okay. It is like conveniently,
Do you
but
think that, it's playing on the back of Zoeb's head that last year Cheyenne was quicker than him, and because Aya seems to be passing Cheyenne pretty easily. I think he's done it a couple of times now, but Zoeb seems to be not able to do it yet properly.
yeah, because both of them they fall actually in the same age group, so it's more like their personal battle now. So who's the fastest youngster? That kind of pride is on this battle. Ah, Zoeb,
I,
Zoeb,
Zoeb going
I
yeah,
through
think
made it,
he
made
heard
it.
very
you.
He made
nicely
it.
done, and
He made
yeah,
it.
I think if are we broadcasting to our drivers by any chance?
I think he heard you. I think he heard you. And now he'll want to get the better of his teammate.
But still, Cheyenne with that kind of like flat spotted is still like locking up to Zoeb now. So you can see in the mirror, like he's hunting him down. Whoa.
It's definitely not helping his cause. And while all this is happening, I think Ontor is just running away from everyone. He's running a very lonely
Lone.
race. He's 14
Lone.
seconds up in front, and he's got no cars inside. Oh, as we speak, I think he's coming up to some back markers.
Yeah, two back
This
markers
will
in
be
front.
interesting.
Let's see how he deals with those back markers. But actually, the battle behind him is actually helping Antor to have this steady lead over them. Yeah, quite very smooth driving from him. No lockup at all. It shows that like he really had some really significant amount of practice here. So it's
Yeah, Cheyenne, as you can see, as we're expecting, he's kind of dropped back already.
yeah, the gap you can see quite visible now.
Of course, Zoheb and Ayaz are the 1 and 2 in the championship standings at the moment.
So Zion is back to P10 again inside the P10. So
Up to
he's
P9.
actually yeah up to P10. So he's having a good recovery race so far. He's 2 lap down.
Ayaz is currently the fastest man on track.
Yeah, he set this lap when he overtook, I think, Cheyenne. No. When there's an incident between Antor and Cheyenne, at that particular lap, he had this fastest lap.
What could Zoheb do here to
Zoheb,
catch his
so
teammate?
he needs to slowly build up that pressure because what he did with Cheyenne is like, playing with mind games. So he can try that, but since Ayaz is also experienced, so it will be really tough to get Ayaz intimate into those kind of moves. So let's see. But there should be a constant pressure every time, and like time is running out, so we don't have much time. So whatever Zoev has to plan, he has to plan very fast. So down at like Zion lost a place, he's now 10th. So Zubair Zaman has overtaken him, and Abir is in 8th. Mushfiq Yasir is in 7th. Sartaj in 6th. Abir, yeah, locking up break. The moment we say Abir, and he locked up.
I must say, this car looks very beautiful on track. I think we could
Yeah,
probably have just a season just driving these cars. They look very, very cool.
At this point in the race, will anyone be trying to think about tomorrow's reverse grid race? Let's say they're running in the top 10.
uh, yeah. Obviously, like the race to when we are the top 10 drivers, people must think about like especially Antar Bhuya is leading the race. So if you still remember like the move that he had, it wasn't a clean one. So he had some body like shoulder to shoulder rub against that with Cheyenne. So when he'll start like if he finishes as a first position in this race, so he has to start from 10th from tomorrow's race. So he has to plan at least 9 moves, at least 9 moves. So he need to plan out those moves. So yeah, he has
Yeah.
some things to practice after today's race.
Yeah. But for people lower down 8, 9, and 10, do you think anyone would rather drop from 9 to 10 so they can start P1 tomorrow?
Uh,
Or are the championship points worth too much?
Here is
And
our
as
last year's, Nilavro, is battling with Ishrak.
side by side.
oh, yeah, lots of place switching in this. Ah,
And I think one of the main reasons why we see this is because the end of the straight and some drivers are just, being a little bit more brave and ambitious with their late braking.
Yeah. See, this is kind of thing that you are used to do in GT3 racing, right? So you cannot change your driving behavior in just matter of a one race. So you'll see a lot of this kind of thing in this race.
Is there a back marker there with
That's a back marker with one of them, I believe. With a lot of them running the same car liveries, sometimes it can get a bit complicated to figure out
Yeah.
which driver is.
Oh, Cheyenne is having fight with Siam Rahman now. So yeah, they're very close.
They're riding on board, I think, with Siam. Siam seems to be very close.
He's actually having a good race this time, right? Siam. I haven't seen much from him from the GT3 race, so like he's having quite a good race with
And
these
I think he's more
LMH cars.
familiar and more used to driving in Assetto Corsa compared to ACC.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like they say, old is gold. And I mean, Assetto Corsa has been around for what, many years now, and it can still provide you with some great races and great racing. So it's good to see that.
Yeah, yeah, thanks to these communities around AC, right? Like they are the one who keeping AC alive. So even like for these mods, like these cars didn't exist when AC was launched. So thanks to this community, the modders, the builders, they're actually helping AC to keep alive.
I have no idea what tire Shine is using because those don't seem should not be lasting that long with the amount of lockups he's had. But it just shows that he has it in him, even with probably damaged tires. He's doing pretty well.
and he did
Yeah,
have that knock at the beginning, so there may be some kind of damage as well.
yeah, if you see like how his race has been so far, is like he at one point he was the leader of the race. Now the fifth position car is like catching him. So you can see the what kind of damage that he has. We can visualize this from first position. Now he's barely surviving to the fourth position.
So I'm very close now.
Yep.
As you go on board, it seems to be ever so close to Cheyenne now.
Yeah. We have around 7 minutes in our hands. So
I think
let's see.
Nilavro is having a battle with Ishrak as well. Ishrak is just, right behind Nilavro. But yeah, let's focus back on the fight that's happening up in front and Siam. He seems to be getting close as well, and it's like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how Cheyenne is still managing his tires. So who has impressed you so far, Asif? What would you say so far?
Antor.
Yeah,
Because only few touching while overtaking. Other than that, I never. Oh, someone spun in front of. Oh, must be a back marker. So like Onto, like apart from those few touches, I didn't see any mistake from him. It's totally clean from him. Maybe a few lockups, only few. But in terms of driving, he has maintained that gap constant with the P2 guys. He's overtaking the back markers quite well. So so far, Onto is the guy.
He has been very impressive. I mean, he's completely gone unnoticed in the race. I mean, didn't one of the things about being very good right up in front is you do not get any broadcast time, and we have not actually followed him much.
Actually, that's actually helping him because none of us like like he's not getting the jinx. So
Yeah, so we are
when
not
he gets,
jinxing him.
Well, now,
yeah,
now, now that you've said it, the next thing I'll expect is something to go wrong.
fingers crossed.
It has been very calm in
Yeah,
front.
yeah, you see, oh, nicely taken those cars.
The battle for P2 has been very
So
exciting
you
as well.
see,
Oh
Oh,
no!
someone is in pit stop.
Do you think it's the tire
Salvatore,
change?
let's see.
Has he missed his box?
we have another
Ah,
car, and
Sadik Chaudhary. What's wrong with them?
let's just hope that they're probably stopping for tires. But I mean, just with 4 minutes remaining, I would have just gone through, unless they have some mechanical damage.
Exactly.
No, there he is moving. Somebody else from the pit is leaving. Yeah, I think
Appears to be
maybe
stuck.
he seems to be stuck. Yeah, so yeah, let's go back. Let's see how the battle is building up, you know. Antar Bhuya and he just overtook Angshuman Biswas for as a back marker. So yes, we haven't jinxed him yet.
Is it
How's the gap
tires
looking?
behind him? We can see in the mirror.
And
Oh, and
Siam
Siam
making
Oh,
there.
that, and Siam does what Cheyenne has been doing the whole race, and he locked it up there. But he's got the inside line. Let's see who's brave enough to hold it.
so yeah, we have only chimney left. So yeah, drivers will get desperate now. This is a desperate window for the drivers. So let's see.
Cheyenne's kept their place for now.
Yeah.
So Sarwar is out of the pit, so I think maybe he could have been fuel even. He might not have had enough fuel for the race.
You can see the track like in approaching a corner. You can see the tire marks, and those actually sees like how many lockups were there in this race. I think Siam has lost the opportunity to overtake him because we don't have much time. It's less than 2.5
While
minutes.
Ayaz, I don't think is giving up. He's pushed it and he's closed the gap down to 6 seconds. It was at 14 seconds at one point of time. So Ayaz is
Whoa.
still going at it, but maybe it might be a bit too late, and it could have been also been, Antar is controlling the race. He doesn't need to make any risky moves. He just needs to bring it home. That's about it.
Yeah, at this point, you just need to think about your machine is like saving the tires. If you like running on low on fuel, then this is the thing. Like when you have a gap like this, then you have to think about your machine.
Looks close again for Siam and Cheyenne.
Yeah,
This is where a lot of action has happened throughout this race.
yeah, and those tire marks says a lot about those incidents.
With the how Sam took that line, you can actually tell that he has a lot more grip. He comes so much quicker out of the corners because he's probably got better traction.
Mm. Stan is just holding the inside line and just so that's the only move that he has now because his tires at this point I think has given up.
Whoa,
Whoa, there's a black
whoa, the back
marker.
marker actually. That's
He almost took out two cars.
and
And
Sam,
yeah,
both
yeah,
of
yeah.
them
Oh,
have spun, and Sam
that's the
goes
back
through,
marker.
and it was the back marker. I think it was unfortunate. We've said that the back markers have been good this season so far. One of those moments where we could have been wrong.
Siam Raman after P4.
So we've just a minute remaining into the race, and Zoeb is still following Ayaz, still looking to make a move on his teammate. But I think Ayaz, as we know, he's got it calm. He's a calm driver. He's very composed, and I think he maybe have it under control. Might be the gap might be a bit too big.
Yeah. Is this the last lap or
Uh,
uh,
yes, I
Although
think
still
it
has some
will.
time?
It will be the
This
last
is the
lap.
last.
Uh,
Yeah, 7 seconds to go. Yeah, this is the last lap for sure. 4, 3. Yep. And we're looking at the race winner.
Winner was oh, it's a final
Ontovia
lap.
wins
No,
it.
we do have one lap.
Oh, okay. So one more, like 16 more corners to survive for Ontovia.
And for Ayaz,
Yeah.
P2 for Zoheb to make a move.
What happened? Why they're slowing
Oh,
down?
So we could have had maybe a broadcast issues with the timing tower. The race apparently has ended.
Oh, but the race tower showing Siam Raman is now P2.
And this does happen in some of the races. It is something we've seen in the past. The timing tower does not function properly at the end of a race sometimes, and it's a known fact. But I think yes, I think we have our top three is basically Anthor is P1. We've got Ayas P2. We've got Zoeb in P3. Siam in
I'm in P4.
P4. Yeah, and our drivers are dropping out of the servers, so you see the changes. The places, positions are changing. So how that was an interesting race. I think a lot of action. I mean, it was definitely not boring at any point of stage. Yes, a lot of drivers. I think. Were driving a lone race, but I think maybe tomorrow might be even a better day, and they're getting used to these cars. Not driven much, I guess, but a very decent race. Asif, what do you think?
Yeah. Uh, as a new kind of machines, new kind of cars, not a bad race. So new kind of driving skills, new track. So yeah, it's a good race. So quite be fun to see the next reverse grid tomorrow. So we actually have seen quite a like lots of fighting for position 4, 5, 6. So we'll expect same thing tomorrow, like exciting fighting, then position exchanging. So many things.
well, congratulations to our winner today, Antar Buyan in P1. Very, very controlled race. One moment of controlled aggression to make the move on Cheyenne earlier in the race, and then went off into the distance by himself. So, who impressed you today, Asif and Fahad?
As I told already, it's Onturbia.
Antar
Yeah,
Buyan, your
he's been
driver of
very,
the day.
very impressive. He's definitely been the driver of the day. I mean,
Yeah,
given that he's had a couple of hardware and technical issues, he came in at the last minute to managed to set a lap time, and and he never looked back from there. And as he got the lead, as soon as he took P1, and he just started pulling away. So he's definitely got to be the driver of the day. This is, I think,
Excellent.
shaping up to be a very interesting championship. Zoeb and Aya still scoring very good points. As we
mm,
know, the Zoeb is leading the championship.
So, let's look forward to tomorrow's race. And in tomorrow's race, we'll have a reverse grid for the first 10 positions. And last week, the reverse grid gave a lot of interest and a lot of excitement and shook things up quite a bit. So thank you for joining us for the third race of NESRC 2.0. Join us again at the same time tomorrow for the second and final hypercar race in the championship. Who will emerge victorious and who will advance their claim to be crowned as the national champion of Bangladesh? Let's find out together tomorrow. Many thanks.